Good evening, everyone. Hello to all our YouTube viewers and participants. Welcome to StackLeague University Series, Adamson University Edition. I am King and I will be your host for tonight. I would like to remind everyone that if you have any questions regarding the session, you can type them in the comment section and we will address them later on the Q&A session. All right, so before we dive into today's session, I would like to give you an overview of StackLeague, especially if it's your first time to join a StackLeague event. All right, so StackLeague is the Philippines' largest online programming league. Our mission is to develop programming leaders to inspire the nation into coding. All right, so the tournament is powered by StackTrek's fully automated talent analytics platform, and then talent analytics platform and assessment platform. Now in its second competitive year, we are very much grateful, and Stack League wouldn't be possible without the support of our partners. And we're very fortunate enough to be supported by the top companies in the industry. We have silver sponsor, the Coding Chiefs. We have the bronze sponsors, Microsoft, Deltec Systems, Upper.PH, and Recruit Day Incorporated. We also, our media partners, we have Spark Up, Apps Gadget, What's Up Pilipinas, Corner Magazine PH, Android Desk Megabytes, Backend News, Blue Wing, and Manila Republic. And of course, the same goes for our community partners who help the league reach as many programmers in the country as possible. Here they are. Okay, so this Pioneering Programmer League was launched last year, March 16 of 2021, and is now gathering over 10,000 tech talents across the country to test their leadership, perseverance, and of course, their coding acuity. And with the promise of nationwide media recognition, lots of prizes, thousands of tech job opportunities, and access to invitation-only events. Okay, so the league's year-round cash prize pool is now at 10 million pesos in the duration of the whole competition. So imagine the prizes that you can acquire when you join Stack League. Okay, so one of the highlights in Stack League is the weekly stack race for both individuals and team category. Each week, the top 10 players and the top 3 teams are announced all across the Stack League's social media platform to recognize the players who stayed on top of the rankings. Apart from this, we also have the Stack League Featured Programmer campaign, wherein the weekly top 10 players are going to be featured on our Stack League's website and our social media channels. Stack League will also be hosting a lot of events, or will be hosting numerous events, tech sessions, and career sessions all throughout the year. Aside from this, there are also exclusive trainings available for ranking up to next challenger levels. So these events and trainings are all for free. Next would be the Stack League Ambassador Program. It's a year-round initiative to reward Stack League challengers who go beyond the competition and inspire the nation into coding. So to tell you more about the Stack League Ambassador Program, here is a short clip for you to see. Okay, moving forward, congratulations to Dominic Lopez for being the Stack League Ambassador for the month of February, winning the 3,000 cash prize and a Stack League t-shirt. So if you want to be the next Stack League Ambassador and win the cash prize and t-shirt, this program is now open for March. And you can find the full mechanics at our website, bit.ly/StackLeagueAmbassador 2022. Okay, so moving forward for the competition itself, there are 5 programming languages supported right now at Stack League. we have the Java, JavaScript, C Sharp, Python, and PHP. And for the ranking system, this is how it works. So after signing up, you will start at the bottom with 0 points, and all you need to do is earn or solve as many challenges as you can, and you will earn corresponding points. And so, the more points you will earn, the higher your ranking goes. And once you have enough accumulated points, you will reach the next level challenges where more opportunities are unlocked for you to access. Okay, so there are three challenger levels. We have the bronze, silver, and the highest rank would be the gold. We also have the challenge level up prizes this year. So every time that you will rank up to every challenger level, you will receive a cash prize. So every time you level up from bronze to silver to gold, you will earn a corresponding prize shown on the screen. Okay, so now we also have the StackLeague Treasure Chest for individual category. So it was officially launched last February 22 and will end on March 26 of 2022. So the weekly top 10 players will the weekly top 10 players will receive each of 500 cash prize. And we also have the StackLeague Treasure Chest for team category. Each winning team will receive 1,500 cash prize. And the StackLeague Treasure Chest team category was launched also last February 22 and will end on March 26 of 2022. You can also read the full mechanics of the StackLeague Challenger Level Up, Treasure Chest individuals, and teams at our website. You can visit stackleague.com/blogs. And that's it for the overview of StackLeague. If you haven't signed up yet, you still have the chance to catch up with other players because this is a year-round competition. Best of luck to everyone. All right, so let's not delay this any further. I would like to remind everyone again that if you have any questions, feel free to comment it on our comment section and we will address them later on at the Q&A session. All right, so let me introduce to you our first speaker. He graduated as cum laude at Polytechnic University of the Philippines with bachelor's degree in information technology. Currently a data engineering SME and instrumentation engineering lead at Globe Telecom Incorporated. He is a versatilist and leader in IT operations. Let's give it up for Mr. Bryan James Ilaga. Good evening, James.
Good evening. Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. So I hope everyone is fine and doing well. For this talk, this will be mainly one of the application or use case for artificial intelligence. I would like to start first with a quote from Plutarch. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but rather a fire to be kindled. All of us have one precious mind, and we should be using it for the most important and critical knowledge. Mind should contain useful memories, not data na makakapuno dun sa alalahanin natin. We're using our brain for work, for living, for recreation, for studying. I mean, why do we need to memorize a grocery list or a shopping list when we can write it down somewhere, di ba? And why do we need to memorize a number if we can save it on our phones? Our brain can only hold so much and we must use it wisely. Also, doing yung repetitive tasks takes so much of our precious time. And each of us only have 24 hours a day. So our goal should be to prioritize value-adding activities. This is why, as programmers, we create programs. Let's say, for example, in this scenario, a factory machine is working 24/7, and because it is being overused, nagpo-cause siya ng factory fire. So what do we do? For me, as a developer by heart, I create a program that detects if one of the devices on the factory is on fire. Then this program performs simple tasks, mainly checking that specific machine, if it's on fire or not. Do that task repetitively, and the automation that it brings saves time, effort, and cost. So that's the value of the product of our program. Now, as we can see, okay naman yung ganong strategy, but it still looks quite a bit reactive to me. And it might be na before dumating yung may dala ng fire extinguisher, the damage is already big. So maybe the fire has already spread. So we add one component to this formula. From my program earlier, I added the internet to form a smart device. Smart devices are interconnected, well, commonly via internet, and they are sharing. That's the keyword, the sharing. They are sharing information. It keeps other devices and people processing interconnected. So on our scenario kanina sa factory fire, rather than just blinking lights, it might be a good idea to get some sort of notification. You know, most of the time, when we're studying or when we're working, we can see chats on our messenger or we can see notifications on our Facebook saying that someone replied to your post. And for me, that will definitely caught my attention. I will click that notification and see what the reply is. Is it a thank you or is it what? Then basically the notification helps catch our attention. The same goes for our factory fire scenario. This time, instead of just detecting and alerting, the program will be connected to the sprinkler so that it will be automatically triggered when fire has been detected. Then it will notify the safety officers or safety units via either SMS or mobile app or maybe dashboard to locate which part of the factory is on fire. That way, we can shorten the time of finding the issue or finding the incident. Now, as you can see, this may be the more typical scenarios, mga modern buildings or mga modern facilities natin. Most probably our schools also use this. However, I would like to introduce to you the wonders of IoT. Okay. So from my smart device earlier, I integrated one or more additional smart devices to form Internet of Things. These devices are communicating to perform one common goal. The key term for IoT or Internet of Things would be communicating. Realistically, what happens during a fire is people panics. That's what normally happens. Sometimes nalilimutan nilang i-follow yung policies and procedures or protocols because their mind is racing for their survival. With IoT, instead of just informing the safety officer, it will then lower the thermostat and trigger the sprinkler to aid for the prevention of the spread of fire. I mean, why would you wait for people to panic, no? Before the safety officers will trigger that alarm, or why would we wait for people to panic to forget for them to forget calling the ambulance or the fire department? Then, what will the program do is it will then call the safety officers, alert the safety officers and automatically call the fire department. Dito parang mas important for the safety officers to attend directly to the incident. I'm not saying na calling the fire department is not important. It is. It very much is. However, with IoT, we can automate that for the officers to focus for the incident at hand. Now, I want you to think of this. Do we think this is already the best thing that we should do? Enough na kaya yung integration natin with IoT on these types of scenarios? Now, I would like to remind everyone of a very, very old quote. I think 100% of you who's listening right now already knows about this. Prevention is better than cure. Being reactive might still cause serious injuries and loss. Possible na may injuries na or may casualties na nung nagkaroon ng fire on one of the factory machines. Instead, we should mature enough to become predictive and prescriptive. We should mature enough to become predictive and prescriptive. Somehow, someone will predict that an incident will happen and will give prescription on how we can prevent the incident. And for us to do this, of course, we need something that can think, such that instead of just putting out fire, we could maybe prevent the fire initially at the first place, or rather than just detecting incident, we could predict that an incident is going to happen. Or instead of just frequently replacing defective hardware or device, with someone who can tune up that device so that it runs on an optimal runtime, therefore prolonging the device life. This is where the Internet of Intelligent Things comes into picture. Internet of Intelligent Things, or what we call IoIT, is very, very much like an IoT, but adding one critical component to the formula. That is artificial intelligence. Instead of just communicating, they are now working together to analyze, predict, and recommend optimal solution and configuration. The way of analyzing and recommending, that's what we call prediction or anomaly detection. Uh, Meanwhile, the prescribing part or tuning up part, that's what we call self-remediation. So, dun sa scenario natin kanina, factory fire, program will then learn the runtime behavior of the machine. Maybe how long is this machine should be running, or how hot is this machine should be. Then it will then check for anomalies. Is the temperature rising, or is this running for a very long time now? Then it will think, oh, maybe we can put down the efficiency, or rather put down some of the settings or configuration of this machine such that it will not overheat. It will not heat up. So, as you can see, walang factory fire na naganap. Kasi even before maganap yung incident, the system already detected and identified potential issues. Therefore, no casualties, minimal loss, and walang damage. In its core, IoIT gathers data from different connected devices. Examples of these devices are maybe your smartphone or smart home sensors, surveillances, smart lights, or even smart car. There exist smart cars now. Tesla is actually a smart car. It analyzes from these devices their behavior and trends, then checks for any anomaly na makikita nila on the behavior. If there is, it will then recommend optimal settings, or if it's smart enough, it will automatically recalibrate the configurations. IoIT, I would just like to make a point, IoIT doesn't mean to replace yung mga existing policies na meron tayo. It's not a full replacement sa mga protocols for fire prevention. Instead, IoIT is a helping hand for us to focus more on what's giving value and value generating activities. On the right hand side, you can see here a typical IoT scenario. And ang difference niya sa Internet of Intelligent Things would be this central component, the central control service, or what we call the brain. For example, let's say meron tayong dinner party. And dumating nung bahay yung mga guests. So the home sensor will then detect and pass those data to central control service. So let's say from the smart home sensor, they notice that the noise of the guest are 80 decibels, just a rough example. And yung heat na generate ng mga guests would be around 28 degrees Celsius. So those data are being passed to the central control service. The central control service will then think, ano kaya yung mga facilities and devices that I can use up so that the guests can be more comfortable. So naisip niya, I think, maybe I can set the thermostat to maybe 21 degrees Celsius para hindi masyadong malamig and not too hot for the guest. So that they're comfortable with the atmosphere, or rather with the temperature at home. Then I saw that they have parked their car in the garage. So I will charge their car. Then I will try to find on their Spotify playlist maybe some of the common genres or common music they're using or they're hearing, so that I can set an ambient music for them to have a more cozy atmosphere. Then lastly, I will open the lights to these specific areas in the rooms to maybe around 80%, not too bright and not too dim for the guest, something that they want to enjoy. So that's how IoIT works in a nutshell. Again, it's almost the same as IoT. If you think of it, any possibilities of IoT, you can add artificial intelligence there to create an IoIT setup. But devices equipped with proper decision making and intelligence, what makes up Internet of Intelligent Things? For me, there are endless of possibilities for using IoIT, and what you're seeing right now on the screen is just a fraction of what we can do. Farming, traffic management, let's say for example, on a highly traffic area, instead na mag-aantay yung mga drivers for RAG status nung traffic lights, some devices will already see that, hey, there are no more cars here, therefore I can prioritize this lane for traffic management, something like that. Utilities like water and waste management, IT service of operations for our servers, for us to know or to automatically recalibrate settings within an IT service operations, yung mga servers natin, the runtime of our devices, so on and so forth. As what I've mentioned earlier, emergencies and calamities, home and health, we can add smart devices to our sa katawan natin as a wearable for us to gauge the healthiness or the status of our body and overall health. Then defense and security. This goes for both cybersecurity and physical security. As of this moment, last time I went to one of the Google offices, and they're using IoIT on some of their workspaces. What they did is to add sensors and devices to their meeting areas, to the table, so as to optimize the usage of it. So for example, yung isang table, let's say yung table malapit sa kitchen counter, it isn't being utilized much. Then the system will think where in the Google office, at what area in the Google office do they think has the most traffic for people, meaning has the most population. That way, they can put that specific workstation there so that that workstation will be optimized. With that being said, aren't you all excited for the future of IoIT? Well, for me, IoIT looks very promising in providing efficiency, prediction, maintenance automation to the future of not only IT services, but rather IT-enabled services as well. Okay. With that, any more questions from the audiences?
All right. So thank you very much, Sir Bryan, for that very informative and very insightful presentation. And thank you for sharing your expertise and knowledge that will equip the students to become a better developer and really use what they've learned today kung paano nila gagamitin yung internet, parang artificial intelligence in their works. So right now we're opening the floor for questions. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to post it or put it in the comment section and we will address it right now.
Wag na kayo
Okay,
mahiya.
yeah, don't be shy. You can you can share you can ask questions naman right now para mas mapalawak natin yung conversation with regards to the topic earlier. Okay, let's view the comments from our YouTube live streaming. Let's look for the first question. So far puro mga introduction, and I think there's are all students from Adamson University. Puro mga estudyante yung kasama natin tonight, and this would be very beneficial for them.
I agree.
Okay. Let's just wait for them. Mga medyo nahihiya pa ata magtanong.
It's alright.
Let's just browse again on the comment section. Okay, overflowing of introduction from from students, and come on guys, don't be shy with your questions.
I believe we still have time for questions, so don't be shy, guys.
Mm. We have enough time pa naman to ask to what do you call this? Parang to cater your questions. Okay, so since wala pa silang question, maybe I could ask a starting question lang
Sure, sure.
para lang ma-ignite yung mga students natin to ask a question. So, my question would be what are neural networks and how do they relate to AI?
Okay. Uh, Neural network is very much an AI terminology. Neural networks is one of the algorithms actually used to train a model, to train a model, and to train an AI or a machine learning model. Neural networks are actually used, different kasing use cases nila depending on what do we want to achieve when analyzing data. And neural net, normally what they are using it is for them to train the behavior. That's one for the anomaly
Mm.
detection. Number two would be for detecting some seasonality within that data. One interesting use case I've actually know of was using neural network for Super Mario. They call it
Mm.
Mar I slash O. Basically, they trained a model to play Super Mario up to the end of the level. So that's similar to how we are positioning this to IOIT. No, we are training the data or the model rather with the data available para mas maging accurate yung prediction and prescription
Mm.
niya.
All right. So thank you, Sir Brian, for that very very concise na explanation about neural network. So para talaga siyang yung kumbaga sa brain ng isang tao, parang ayun yung parang yun yung ini-implant na ano yung dapat niya maging reaction sa isang bagay. So para siyang nagiging utak din ng buong model ng isang AI. All right, so now we have a lot of questions from our YouTube viewers. So from Luis Aldave, what do you think are the pros and cons of IOIT?
Okay, thank you, Luis. For pros, I can think of prediction, maintenance, and efficiency as the key selling factor ng IOIT. Automating with brains can further shorten turnaround times of processes and, of course, tasks. On the hindsight naman, privacy, that's number one. Privacy can be of concern because all of the devices are connected within one network. Therefore, you
Mm.
must fortify it. Then being over reliant on the prediction might not be a good idea, especially if the machine learning model is quite young. As I've said earlier, tinitrain siya. Merong training and generations na nagaganap in order for the machine learning algorithm to perform or to predict as accurate as it should. There is always a risk for jobs. However, I personally don't think devices can fully replace human work. It might be that some of the tasks will be done by device, but the device will still need some human intervention or human interaction to maybe check the model from time to time, ensuring the accuracy of the prediction and prescriptions. Yeah, that's all.
All right. So thank you, Luis Aldave, for your question. No? So it's really true that a lot of technologies right now, it's very helpful naman din talaga when it comes to making your life easier. It's just that we have to consider that there are pros and there are cons for this one. And definitely, it would need ano din talaga, parang time of experience on how will you be able to manage and parang maintain yung mga technology na ginagamit natin right now. All right. So
Correct,
next
correct.
question would be from Carl Adrian de Guzman. All right. So if we use AI like computer vision for detecting fire, will it be better from the traditional fire detection?
Actually, Carl, that's a great suggestion. No? That's a great insight. Yes, definitely, we can use AI for computer vision to detect fire. On top of that, maybe we can also use AI vision to detect heat rather than fire, so that bago pa mag-overheat or magkaroon ng fire, we can already prevent it. Again, prevention is better than cure, and definitely
Mm-mm.
magandang idea siya. However, if we can prevent it before it happened, then I think that's more valuable than putting out fire.
All right. So I think it's really a good suggestion from Carl, no? And thank you for
Yes, yes.
expounding kung paano yung magiging setup when we use AI for computer vision for that one. It would really be good a really good tool for fire detection. So tama nga naman na prevention is better than cure. So that would be a good tool for prevention ng fire. Okay, next would be from Andrea. Do you think at least in Metro Manila, IoT will be a big thing in the next 3 to 5 years? And would it be easy to access by ordinary citizens who are novice to this or maybe new to this type of technology?
Yes, yes. I believe, Andrea, that it will be the next big thing within the next 3 to 5 years. As you can see, dati wala pang nakakaalam ng blockchain. Wala pa,
Mm-mm.
sobrang scarce pa lang ng taong may concrete knowledge for cloud. But right now, it's the future. It's now. And I believe IoT will be that in the next 3 to 5 years. For the next question, would it be easy to access by ordinary citizens who are novice to this? Um, I can say for sure. Unfortunately, I do not have data to correctly or directly answer that. However, I would like to encourage, no, since majority of the audience are from our students, um, this is something that na baka pwede nating i-share or i-impart to the ordinary citizens so that they too have knowledge on what IoT or what IOIT is.
All right. Thank you for that insight, Sir Brian. That's really that's true also no na if you want naman din for the ordinary citizens to learn for this one, yung mga taong knowledgeable din talaga would have to step up and parang share it with the ordinary citizens para din may knowledge sila with the IoT. Okay, next question would be from Ange Ilaga. Okay, how can we know or assess intelligence of a machine and maybe know if we need to upgrade?
Okay. So, in machine learning, there is a term that we call model training. There's specific set of data, no? And we already know the outcome. And we feed that data to the model, and the model will put an output, which we already expected. Now, training, multiple times of training that model will produce a much accurate results in the as an end result. Um, the question is, how do we know if the intelligence is enough or it needs recalibration? So the term here that I will use is maintenance. From time to time, there should be a maintenance running to know if the accuracy of the model is still accurate and relevant. Otherwise, we might need to maintain the model again or to feed more data to the model again so as to mas magiging intelligent yung decision making of the machine.
Okay, so I think that's the word for for this question, or the really maintenance. So it would be
Yes.
high maintenance na before you can upgrade your model. So you really have to maintain it and check if it's still working, and if yung mga data ba niya or yung output niya is still relevant dun sa ini-expect mo na output. Okay, next question is from Loreto Gutierrez Jr. Sir, ano pong maire-recommend nyo na pag-aralan to start IoT? What hardware to be considered as learning material? Thank you. Also, programming language na maire-recommend daw for IoT.
Okay, okay. So, ano yung mare-recommend na pag-aralan? Before I would answer that, I would like to say muna na if we want to develop in IoT or IOIT, the first is we need to have the desire and idea on what to develop. Those two key things are what drives us or motivates us to perform or to perform better or to learn more about IOIT. Now, for the technical stuffs of IoT or IOIT, of course, programming is very much needed. Data analytics and statistics plays huge part in overall of AI, hindi lang siya IoT or IOIT. Embedded devices. Studying embedded devices can be much of an advantage when setting up an IoT environment. What hardware to be considered as a learning material? Also, what programming language? Okay. For hardware, there are many very small computers that is in the market right now. Intel Galileo, Raspberry Pi, Arduino. Those things can have their sensors so that they can be a smart device. We can start with those, or we can even start with our own smartphones. I think that's pretty much what's available right now with us. Having smartphones and connecting it to multiple smart devices in the area can already form an IoT. And creating one central server to train data, that's how we get IoIT.
All right. So Loreto, make sure to take guys, make sure to take note of all of the things that Sir Bryan mentioned, and how will you be able to study the IOIT, and what are the hardware materials, or what are the hardware that you can use in terms of using it as a learning material, and for the programming languages and other subjects or topics that you need to master before you proceed doing the IOIT. Okay, I think we have the last question from Jace Russell Padua. Are IoT devices secure when it comes to connecting to a network, or will they pose a security threat for the whole network?
Okay, that's actually a great question, James. I appreciate you asking that. Uh, Yes, there is. I can definitely say there is. The same issue or the same risk that we are imposing when we create a Facebook account. When we create a Facebook account and post our pictures there, it will basically be accessible to either everyone or to our friends unless we private those photos. Obviously, the same goes for IoT. If for example, we set up an IoT devices or networks within a specific area without necessary precautions and security policies, it will be risky. So my suggestion here would be if we are thinking of setting up an IoT environment, let's also think on how we can make devices or people within those IoT networks secure. We could maybe add secure protocols, security certificates. We can definitely use those, or transferring of data with an encrypted with an encryption rather. So yes, there is a risk, but we as programmers should try to mitigate and think of how we can avoid those risks.
All right. So, as mentioned, really, the IoT devices would have to be secured by the programmer itself. It's one of your responsibility also to make a secured environment for your technology or for your devices. So I think that would be the last question for this session today. And thank you to everyone for your questions, and thank you, Sir Bryan, for answering our
Thank you.
participants'
Thank you.
questions. And of course, for that very insightful presentation about the IOIT. All right. Thank you, Sir Bryan. All right. Now to our second guest speaker. He is a proud Cebuano technopreneur. He is an AWS community hero, mentor, and co-leader of the AWS User Group Philippines since 2013. Currently, he is the technology officer, advisor, and special projects at Edukasyon.PH. Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Raphael Francis Quisimbing. Good evening, Sir Raf.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here. And yeah, I just want to see, based on the people's comments here, though, I want to understand if you've met me before, if you've heard one of my talks before, just to give a idea of the audience that we have. So if you can comment, if you've attended one of my talks before, or if maybe you've subscribed to my YouTube channel, Young CTO, please do shout it out in the comment box as well. Okay. All right. So again, thank you for having me here. My talk is Introduction to Machine Learning, specifically on the cloud or on AWS. Okay. Let's see if my slides cooperate. So a short background of myself. Okay, I have roughly around more than 15 years of experience focusing on software development. My stack of choice is still PHP, MySQL, Linux, so the LAMP stack, and Apache. Sometimes Nginx also. I am the AWS community hero in the Philippines. So basically that means I promote and help, train individuals to be more knowledgeable in AWS. Okay? And then I've been certified in the industry in the AWS since 2013, right? And I've been leading the community, helping the community since 2013, as mentioned. Yeah. Also, for any startup out there, or you plan to make your own startup, right? For anyone that needs help in terms of your cost of your infrastructure, credits, right? I can also help with you because I'm an AWS scout as well, right? So again, I have multiple certifications. I'm also a authorized instructor, yes, and a professional in solutions architect as well. So I can see from the comments that I think this is the first time that you've heard of me, or you haven't attended any of our talks before from the AWS community or the AWS Club community. No? So maybe in the future, I can invite you to join there as well. Okay. So what are the common ML use cases? I'm so glad that this was already partially touched on earlier on our IoT devices. So common use cases is forecast and prediction, right? You want to find out, right, what are the trends. Perhaps you want to predict, who will win a particular campaign. You want to look at our stock market, how will the stock market behavior, or even fashion, right? What are the next fashion trends? Next, personalization and recommendation, right? So as a application, I want to show you maybe videos that I know you are interested in. You as a student, will I show you things that are for boomers? Definitely not. Maybe they will show it to me. I'm closer to a boomer age already. But for you, right, as an individual, your experience is different from even your seatmates' experience, right? So based out of your profile, based out of your interaction with our system, right, you are given a personalized experience. And lastly, anomaly and fraud detection, right? If there is a pattern already established, let's say, let's say in the IoT, right, as mentioned, right, the heat, and then suddenly there's an increase in heat, okay? Oh, that's an anomaly. So that means, hey, there is something that's going on. We want to double check. Maybe a fire is about to break, right? So again, if you're looking at the heat, as earlier mentioned, and there's suddenly a spike in your heat sensor, then there must be something, there's an anomaly, so you have to take action on that. Likewise for fraud detection, so a lot of these credit card transactions, your e-commerce rely on ML to detect fraud detection as well. Okay, so again, when we're starting with ML or machine learning and AI, we always look at what are our business needs. Do we just make models out of for fun of it? Maybe, maybe for academic purposes, but in application, you start with a business need. Does your site need to provide product recommendation based on their past history? Okay, so example, this is your use case. So if you were using AI or ML, okay, what you will be doing potentially is maybe like a classic programming. Okay, you just look at the users, a single user's purchase history. Because you purchased this yesterday, okay, I will recommend to you get to. So basically, very limited if you're just doing classic programming. But with machine learning, you can actually apply a site-wide customer sales, not just your history, but also history of profiles that are similar to you or basically look alike. Profiles that may have been one feature or one variable different from you, but generally the chances are, again, if they like this, because you are so similar in terms of profile, you might actually also like this. So you're combining a large data set versus just using classic programming. Okay, so there are three categories of machine learning algorithm. We have their supervised, unsupervised, and reinforced. Okay. So earlier, our speaker mentioned that very popular machine learning or AI, okay, is called supervised machine learning. Okay, so this is widely acceptable. The idea here is you show the right answer. You actually label data, okay, and your machine learning learn by example. Okay, so you train the data to help determine the patterns and relationship between the input and the output. So what you do here, you gather a collection of data and you tell, this is a hot dog. This is a hot dog. This is a hot dog. This is hot dog. This is not the hot dog. Okay, so you label a series of data, okay, probably thousands of images, so that when a new image comes in that isn't labeled, okay, it has already that trained model, ideally, right? So the trained model, it will give you a prediction if it is a hot dog or not a hot dog. Okay. So again, you already gave it a series of right answers. Okay. Now, earlier it was also mentioned, how do we make sure that the intelligence is enough? Okay, there is actually a talk by our machine learning hero in AWS called Arvin Lat. You can check out our SICLab program as well, where he talks about what we call the ML pipeline, machine learning pipeline. Okay, so where you have to constantly train. What you can do here is the images that were also labeled correctly, okay, as pure images that were labeled correctly as hot dog, they become part of your eventual learning data set. Okay, so it continuously to learn based on the continued accumulation of data. And then, of course, you do random testing, right? You have batch testing at one point to double check humanly if you're still the results are still acceptable. Okay, so again, this is supervised. You give them a correct set of answers in the beginning. Now, unsupervised is basically you give a bunch of data. Okay? You basically say, hey, these are my data. I don't know. Okay, I'm not going to tell you if it's a hot dog or not hot dog. Okay, and in fact, I also don't want you to tell me if it's a hot dog or not hot dog. Tell me instead, what are the groups that you can see? Okay, what are the groups that you can see? Maybe the way it will group is, hey, this is from the photos, from the photos of that we gave of food. it might actually give you groupings of, oh, this one has onions, well, this one has different, different information. So again, the idea here is you want the AI to determine patterns, okay, patterns that you personally as a human might not actually detect, okay, you might not immediately be aware of. Okay, so how they cluster around, together, is what a unsupervised, okay, machine learning algorithm is. Okay, and lastly is reinforced. Okay, and this one is learning through trial and error. Okay, so unlike our supervised, this one, okay, we tell the machine learning algorithm that I know the desired outcome. I know that I know that I want the fastest, maybe, the yummiest, maybe the yummiest. No, not yummy because it's so hard in AI to do taste right now, no? So, for example, the fastest route to a location, So, what will our reinforced learning do? It will try to explore around, and you basically penalize it based on the final outcome. Okay, if the final outcome is faster, then you reward it versus the other trials. No? So again, the model continuously improves by mining feedback from previous iterations. So if you are a gamer, right, the very popular AI, things like, I think it's Dota, right? Dota, I forgot the term, where they would play, the computer would play hundreds or thousands of hours learning, and to such a point that they were already able to beat pro gamers. Okay? So that's the idea there. They would play and play and play and learn from the mistakes. Okay, they will try to explore. Will I go to the jungle if it's this like this? Okay, no. It actually, at the very end, I lost. So maybe next time I will not do that. Okay, so it will continue to explore, and then the learnings are compiled. So you know the outcome, you want to win, okay? But again, you don't know how yet. So you let the machine learning exploratory. Okay? So again, depending on your type of problem, you look at the kind of machine learning that you want to do. If you're doing clustering or dimension reduction, you go with unsupervised. Okay? If you want to do classification and regression, you go with supervised learning. Okay? And again, if you don't know the outcome, you can use the reinforced learning. Okay? So what skills do you need, okay, when you are going for ML or AI or machine learning? No? So there's actually a full stack or a lot of roles that you need. So machine learning isn't just a one-man team. Okay, basically you need an entire team. You have your ML scientist, you have your applied scientist, you have your research, your data scientist, your business intelligence officer, data engineer, software engineer, your dev manager, your technical program manager. No, basically you need skills of science and engineering. Okay, and sometimes it's very hard to be able to get this single person, and I guess it would be almost impossible to get a single person or a few person that has these skills. No, it would be very rare, right? And so what does that mean? Okay, you need to have better support, no, better support, or you need to appropriate, okay, your business or your solution to what you have presently. Okay, so in AWS we have what we call the ML stack, no, which is based on your resources or based on your capabilities. Okay, you can have various levels of ML or AI service. Okay, so if you are a developer and you don't like to build models, you just want to use computer vision, you want to use text to speech, right? So basic AI services. Okay, these are what we call the developer AI services. So computer vision like Amazon Recognition, Poly, transcribe, comprehend, okay, translate, text track, Kendra, Lex, Personalized. Okay, so these are all API ready, okay? API ready machine learning. The models have been prepared for you. You don't need to tweak the models, although you can improve the models by giving it your own custom data set. Okay, but again, you just think of this like a typical third-party library or a typical third-party AI that you can use immediately. Okay, next, if you are a little bit more, maybe you're a data science, but you're not interested in the servers, the actual infrastructure, then you can use the ML service. Okay, the ML service is a SageMaker. So again, things like building the notebooks, experiments, autopilot, model hosting. Okay, this is done on the ML service layer. And actually, I noticed that there is an increased number of data scientists that are moving to this layer. Okay, why? Because on the lowest layer, the ML framework and infrastructure, okay, there's a lot of administrative work that is needed. No? Deploying and managing your TensorFlow, installing and deploying your PyTorch or MXNet. Okay? A lot of these, again, there's still a lot of heavy lifting that you have to do on the infrastructure side. And this might not be something that you might be interested or comfortable to do. Okay. So again, depending on your area of expertise, right? You want to go deep, very deep, and you really want to go touch the lowest level, then go ahead, modify the ML framework and infrastructure. You want to use more like a business logics and building your own models, then go to the ML service. Or if you want to just use an AI service, use the AI service layer. Okay. Okay. So again, in AWS, there's a lot of solutions. Okay, artificial intelligence level, machine learning, okay, deep learning, and there's a lot of services that you can use. Okay, and we will discuss some of these services at present. Okay, but before that, okay, where's my video? It's not loading. Oh, there it is. Let me share an overview again, just to recap on what I just mentioned.
AWS provides every developer and data scientist the broadest and deepest set of machine learning services on the most comprehensive cloud platform, enabling them to create impactful solutions faster. Developers can quickly add intelligence to applications without needing machine learning expertise, using pre-trained AI services to do things such as create more intelligent contact centers, improve demand forecasting, detect fraud, personalize the consumer experience, and more. For machine learning practitioners and data scientists who want to build, train, deploy models, Amazon SageMaker offers complete access, control, and visibility into each step required. SageMaker provides all the tools needed for machine learning, including the first fully integrated development environment, so models get to production faster with less effort and at a lower cost. With SageMaker, customers achieve up to 10 times improvement in data science team productivity and 54% lower TCO compared to other cloud platforms. AWS is framework agnostic, empowering expert practitioners to use the deep learning framework of their choice, either as a managed experience in SageMaker or pre-configured AWS Deep Learning AMIs. For those who want to learn machine learning, educational devices such as AWS Deep Racer, Deep Composer, and Deep Lens are designed to teach the fundamentals of machine learning in fun and practical ways. Join the tens of thousands of customers who already choose AWS for machine learning.
Right. Right. So let me just show, or go to several of the services. So again, we have Amazon Poly. This is a text to speech. But I guess what is different here, it supports various languages, and you can actually modify the tone, the lexicons. So you can basically tell the machine how you want to say it out loud. Okay, so you want them to whisper, you want them to say it in a particular accent, you can do that. Okay, that's Amazon Poly, text to text to speech. No? So you might not know, actually, some of your YouTube videos that you're watching, they might actually be using Poly, no? Reading it out loud. It sounds human, but it's actually using Amazon Poly. No? So, okay, so here's an example. Okay, just pass on the text, and this is a sample code here. You basically tell them, this is a very simple one. You output it in MP3, and you even pass a voice. Okay, so in this case, voice is Joanna. Okay. We'll skip the videos of Amazon Poly demo so that we have more time. But I'm just gonna flash it here so that when the recording later, you can actually get the link to watch that video. Okay, we'll skip that, but we have time. If you're looking for computer vision, okay, basically looking at images and video analysis to identify objects, people, text, scenes, activities, okay, even activities like, is this person doing any workout, right? You can have Amazon recognition as for that, okay, and you can have your own custom labels, custom information so that you can detect that as well. So just sample, okay, you can do object detection. So pass it a image or pass it a video, and then it will tell you, hey, what are the items that it can see? It saw a person, it saw a crest, it saw an outdoor, it saw a mountain bike, it saw rocks, and the confidence level. So the machine learning says I'm 99.3% sure that this is a person. Okay, so it's up to you if you want to output that, but it also gives you the confidence level. It also is able to do face detection and analysis. So things like, gender, the eyes are open, are they happy, are they smiling? Okay, there is that possibility. So a lot of times, this computer vision is actually used for identity and verification. So such as example here, we have a face comparison. Okay, so I uploaded a photo and an ID. Okay, and it says here this photo, okay, and this ID, there it's a 97.8%, okay, similar. Okay, so you don't even have to make your own identity checking. So if you've done any kind of KYC or know your customer, they're using computer vision. I wouldn't be surprised if they're using actually behind the scene AWS recognition. Okay, if you've used Edukasyon and you've done our ID verification, we use this AWS recognition. Okay, so again, we have a video. If you want to watch more about recognition, I'll just flash it just in case. Okay, I'll skip that so that time. Next, we have translate. Very simple AI service, translating from one language to another language. Of course, to expand it, okay, if you have business terms, you can always support a custom set of terms as well. Okay, so here's an example. Okay, here, ang mga kaibigan kong mayaman ay ang mag-ayuda naman kayo. Okay, and unfortunately, Tagalog, I wouldn't say it's 100% accurate yet. So it said, with my rich friends, you can also be useful. Maybe it's like 90% accurate, no? All right. Okay, again, more video about translate if you want to watch that also. Okay. Now, next, transcribe. Okay, transcribe, baliktad naman. Basically from audio, so you can think of this as listening. No? So it converts speech to text. Okay, so if there is a recording and you need that to be transcribed into text, okay, you can use transcribe, and just in case, it has automatic detection for PII. Let's say, hey, somebody said something that you want it to be redacted, not part of your text. You can have transcribe say, hey, please remove all the credit card that you find in the audio. Any names that you want, remove that. Okay. Also supports medical. If you want to transcribe medical information, that's also possible. Again, this is computer hearing. Okay. Here, hearing. Okay, so this is, you can do an example. I'll also give you a link later to do your own examples. It's very interesting. Okay, so basically just start streaming. Okay, and then while you are saying it out loud, it will continue to write what you are saying. Okay, so again, a short video of transcribe if you want to watch that as well. Okay. Next, comprehend. Okay, so comprehend is a natural language processing. No? So given a text, right? Given a text, it will identify what are the documents, or basically what are the properties inside. No? Things like, are there positive inside? Are there negative inside? Okay, what kind of organizations are mentioned? Okay, so from a text, you're able to comprehend that. No? So here's an example here. Okay, it's able to detect some of the key phrases. Okay, such as so it says here, your future, looking at schools, scholarships, right? These are some of the things that it mentioned. There's also a sentiment. No? Is this text positive? Is this text negative? Is it just stale? Okay. So that is comprehend. Again, more videos for that if you want to watch.
To announce another news.
And then next, text track. Okay, so text track is OCR. Okay, so basically in this case, it tracks. It's still similar to computer vision, but it's changing the document. No? A document, maybe a document that you print, you want it read to you, you extract that. No? The difference between OCR or text track, there's also table extraction. So it's not just reading it left to right. If there are columns, right, it's able to output those as well. Okay, so here, raw text, you can get the raw text of everything inside. This is a document. You can actually look at it in a form. So when you say form, like for example, the full name, Jane Doe, okay, that is in a form. So a JSON string, like an array is sent to you so that you can identify that for the property full name, it's Jane Doe. For the property attribute phone number, this is the value. Okay, so again, raw, form, and even tables. So it can return to you a table. Perhaps you want this in CSV, right? So that you don't say, if this was traditional, then you would only receive it like this, right? And so it's very hard. But with tables extraction, you can understand that it is columnar and by row. Again, more video about text track if you want to find it here. Okay. Whoop. All right. Next is Amazon Lex. And this is interesting because we know some of our devices like Amazon Alexa is actually powered by Lex. And what is Lex? This is a interactive back and forth conversation. So it's conversation. So if you're looking at chatbots, home devices that you interact with, this is actually powered by Amazon Lex. Okay, it supports Facebook. When you chat in Facebook and a computer answers you, this actually could be powered by Lex, Kik, Slack, Twilio, and even SMS. Okay, so this is just an example. Okay, this could be like this could happen maybe in your Facebook Messenger. You say, I'd like to book a hotel. Okay, Lex tells you, ask what city, you give it a city. Lex will say what date. Okay, and then you answer, and then it wants to confirm yes, and then you have your confirmation. So it's all about your getting your intent. The intent is to book a hotel, and it navigates guides you based on your interaction with that. Okay. So example here, if you answer what date are you leaving, you can actually even answer tomorrow, and it's able to tell based on the date that it received. Okay, so it's more natural, right? Natural language. You can also put it here in different texts. Let's say you want to put there 2016-11-30. Okay, it understands that as well. Here, are you sure? Okay, you can say yes, yeah, no, yeah, okay. Okay, and again, your Lex will understand that you are confirming. Okay, so a video about Lex, you can watch it here as well. Okay, now for IoT, no? So we're just talking about a few of the machine learning available in AWS. For IoT, we also have the IoT Greengrass ML interface. Okay, so if you're running IoT and you want ML to be deployed or machine learning to be deployed in your IoT devices, you can use this service as well. Okay, so again, training, building, and optimizing happens on the IoT device. Okay, so a question that was raised earlier is what kind of IoT devices or what devices would help me learn machine learning? Okay, my suggestion, okay, first is in terms of IoT, get the AWS IoT Edukit. Why? Okay, versus let's say Raspberry or other Arduino. Why? Because we know that the trend now is going cloud. Okay, so you want that your IoT is basically cloud ready. So using the IoT Edukit, okay, we already know that it has been built to be cloud compatible. So easier. I think it's relatively cheap, not so expensive, and a good learning kit for you. For those that want other AI, learning as well, you can actually join Deep Racer. There's even a student account that you can do. Basically, the idea here is to learn reinforced learning by giving your race car a logic that you want them to train to achieve the fastest speed. Okay? If you want to do machine learning on the computer vision, okay, you can use Deep Lens. And for the musicians out there or those that want to play around with GAN, there's even a Deep Composer. So these are fun learning activities to start with your machine learning. And this is an IoT device as well. Right. Okay, so let me just play again ML infrastructure that's available.
Businesses have found new ways to leverage machine learning for applications such as recommendation engines, object detection, voice assists, fraud detection, and more. Although the use of machine learning is gaining traction, long development time, high cost, the need for agility, and high complexity are key barriers that prevent use of machine learning from becoming even more widespread. For the fastest and easiest way to get started using machine learning, AWS offers Amazon SageMaker, a fully managed machine learning service. For more customized machine learning projects, AWS Machine Learning Infrastructure delivers a range of options to you. AWS Machine Learning Infrastructure Services remove barriers to adoption of machine learning with cost-effective, high-performance options that are agile and easy to use for beginners and experts alike. With AWS ML Infrastructure, organizations can get the right amount of compute, storage, and networking performance for any use case and budget. For fast model training that reduces training time from days to minutes, EC2 P3 and P3DN instances offer the highest performance GPU training instances in the cloud. For small-scale or entry-level machine learning training, EC2 G4 instances can be a cost-effective solution. For high-performance inference, EC2 Inf1 instances with AWS-developed Inferentia custom chips deliver high throughput and low latency with the lowest cost per inference in the cloud. For GPU-based inference, EC2 P4 instances enable use of NVIDIA libraries. For inference that uses Intel AVX 512 instructions, EC2 C5 instances are a good solution. For cost-effective shared file storage of large amounts of data needed to train models, Amazon S3 is a great solution. To further increase storage performance, Amazon FSx for Lustre delivers shared file storage with high throughput and consistent low latencies. AWS was first in the cloud to offer 100 gigabits per second per instance of network bandwidth. For large-scale multi-node deployments, Elastic Fabric Adapter provides a low-latency, low-jitter channel for inter-instance communications. For highly scalable Kubernetes orchestration, you can use Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service to efficiently run distributed training jobs. In addition, AWS offers different pricing plans
Right. So I'll pause it here. No. And again, if you need the link, let me see if I can click share. If it shows up. Okay, it doesn't show up, no, unfortunately. Okay, so you can just search for overview of AWS machine learning infrastructure in YouTube as well. No?
Businesses have found new ways to leverage.
Okay, so wrapping up, if you want to try, no, these services yourself, you want to play with computer vision, you want to try a demo of it, please go to ai-service-demos.go.aws.com. No? Try it out yourself, record, upload photos, etc. Look at these services, at least the AI services yourself, right? And for those that want, a guided path, they want to understand how can I learn machine learning, you can go to explore.skillbuilders.aws. Okay, it is a full path. It doesn't just talk about AWS. It actually talks about the entire machine learning concept. Okay, it starts off with demystifying AI, ML, and machine learning in general. No, is it hard? Is it what is it? Okay, so there's a good video or course for you to take. Overall, generally it's 36 hours in total, so you can spread this over time. It is totally free to use. Okay, and again, there's also other learning paths if you want. If you're interested to becoming a developer, if you're interested to learn a particular stack, okay, explore that skill builders at AWS. It's a combination of cloud plus specific or general knowledge as well. Okay, so thank you so much for listening, and giving me your time. If you do have time, please scan our QR code or go to this link so that you can give me feedback. Do you want a longer period to talk? Do you want, hey, let's schedule another deep dive of the services that you mentioned? Please do scan it here. And thank you again once more.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Sir Raf, for that very detailed and concise presentation. Truly, the technology is really continuously growing, and there is so much to learn and explore. So, for those who are very much interested to learn more about machine learning and artificial intelligence, we are now opening the floor for questions. Okay, so again, for your questions, if you have any questions regarding the session that Sir Raf mentioned earlier, please type them in the comment section and we will address them now during the Q&A session. Okay, I think they're trying to muster all of their confidence to ask a question. So let's just wait for them.
All right. Or
All right.
pwede rin Tagalog or Bisaya, no? If you want to ask those questions in Tagalog or Bisaya, I will accept, right, those questions as well. Or baka
Right.
gutom na kayo. Mga ganyan.
So while waiting for the piling up of questions, maybe I could ask a starting question lang para ma-ignite yung confidence ng mga students to ask a question. So
Sure.
sure, Raf, what is a cross validation, or how does it relate to artificial intelligence?
Sorry, can you
Hello?
repeat that? Mhm.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so Sir Raf, what is cross validation and how is it related when it comes to creating, or when it comes to artificial intelligence?
Okay. Okay, let me I don't know, understand what you mean by, basically what you're trying to do with cross validation is, I guess you're checking, no? You're checking, or you're trying to understand if the performance and the accuracy of the machine learning language itself. So then what you're trying to do is to make sure that your business needs is um, actually solved, no? Or the output is what you desire. So I think personally, my background is more as a developer. So as a business developer and a what do you call this, an entrepreneur. So for me, when I understand that my output, no, my output is acceptable, right? That for me is already a validation of the present model that I have, no? Because there are many ways that you can cross-validate or you can check your output, right? So many techniques on that. Again, this is more towards deep dive of ML, and especially in the ML pipeline. But again, what's important here is to test, no? Test, and also do. Now, once it's deployed, you also go back and continuously test your model.
All right. So thank you,
Okay.
Sir, for that, for that elaborative explanation about cross validation and how is it supposed to be done when you're doing your artificial intelligence.
I
All right.
think
So
no,
let's
just to add to that, no, it's not really. There's a lot of ways, no, to do that. I would say maybe things like getting a small batch, no, or just constantly testing your output, no, or do automated tests as well, or automated continuous learning, no. But I guess the point there is to always test, no, always test, even if you have an existing model already.
all right. So that would be a good thing, no? You really have to maintain your model in terms of the relevance and yung binibigay niya na output. At ano yung ina-expect mo na desired output and if nade-deliver ba yun ng model mo. All right, so let's go back to the comment sections on our YouTube live streaming if meron ng questions for our session. Okay, so more of it's not okay, more of introduction from
Right.
students.
Actually, yung last comment is kanina. Kanina pa yung last comment. So, 6:16 pa, no? So, baka... No? Okay, maybe our
Okay.
audience that's watching, no, are actively eating. And so that's why they are not able to go to their...
Medyo busy
To
pa sa
their...
pagkain.
Yes, yes. Right. So I think since I'm sharing the slides again, no, one of the things going back, no, that if there are no questions or you want to really explore, again, look at teaching yourself machine learning. No? Here's a good path if you want more hands-on or you want to, you know, experience it yourself, do the demos that I mentioned here. Okay? And if you want, you know, more IoT devices or physical devices, you can use the IoT EduKit and AWS Deep Devices. No? So assisting you physically, because you might be a kinetic learner, you want to really play around with devices, then you can use this as well. Okay, so try it out yourself and also learn.
Okay, so for all of the students who wanted to upskill their knowledge when it comes to machine learning and creating, doing artificial intelligence, take note of all of the materials and sources mentioned by Sir Raf. And that would be helpful in terms of um, gaining more knowledge about machine learning and how it could help you in your next or in your career path that you're going to choose when you graduate. Okay,
Right.
let's go again
Maybe
on our comment
uh,
section. Maybe we have the courage na to ask a question.
sige.
Okay.
Maybe while waiting for the question, maybe some questions that you might ask. Pagkano ba ang sahod dito sa Pilipinas na mga ML? No? Baka interesting question yan sa inyo. Right? So recently, I think na-post yan sa Reddit or I think sa AWS user group. No? Basically, career shifter siya. So he learned, no? He learned for I think almost 1 to 2 years machine learning or being a data scientist. Career shift siya, no? So he spent 1 to 2 years learning, and then yung salary niya biglang biglang 6 digits, no? So yung dating salary niya na maybe 20 or 30, no, a month, naging 6 digits after learning or investing in himself in terms of learning, right? So if you go into machine learning or go into the cloud, the ceiling is very high. Okay, baka almost sobrang taas. And in fact, it's so much in demand, especially machine learning now, that the offers just come in, right? So if this is where you want to go to eventually, definitely you reap the benefits.
Right. So thank you so much, Sir Raf, for sharing that very inspirational that the salary that they can earn once they became a machine learning expert. All right. So I think we don't have any questions that baka nagutom na yung mga students natin and they're very busy na into taking their dinner. But anyway, thank you so much again, Sir Raf, for imparting your invaluable knowledge to our participants and for sharing different tips and tricks on how to become a better machine learning expert. So I think that's it lang on our session for today. Again, thank you, Sir Raf and Sir Bryan, for sharing with us all of your knowledge with IOIT, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. All right. So before we end our session for today, here are some announcements here are some of the events for the month of March. All right. So we have the StackLeague BYTE AdmuTech session, building a minimum viable product on March 23, Wednesday at 6 p.m. We also have on March 24, the StackLeague Microsoft Tech Session Cloud 101 on March 24th, Thursday at 6 p.m. And we also, last but not the least, we have the StackLeague Draper Startup House, Future Economy and the Metaverse and why it matters in the Philippines on March 30th, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Okay, so there are plenty of opportunities for you to learn here on Stack League, and you can go to fb.com/stackleague/events for the details or for the registration details and get the latest updates. Okay, so the Stack League Ambassador again is open for the month of March and accepting entries. You can earn your ambassador points now. Visit bit.ly/StackLeagueAmbassador 2022. Also, to make sure to earn Stack League points to unlock the challenger levels and receive the prizes. So that's all for all the announcements in the month of March. All right, so that would be the end of our session for today. Thank you everyone for joining the StackLeague University Series, Adamson University Edition. If you don't have a StackLeague account yet, make sure to sign up now at stackleague.com and of course, invite your friends, family, colleagues, even random people that you know who should be part of the league. So see you guys at the next StackLeague event. Good night.